Welcome everyone. We are in the 23rd episode of Fun with Hero, right? And this week we are going to talk about again four heroes of India. So who are these heroes? Now, these are the four people we are going to talk about. So any
Uncle
idea?
is one Rabindranath Tagore.
Yes, that is on the left hand side we have Rabindranath Tagore. Yes, we do have. Yep. So we have different type of. There are two from the Bengal side of.
Ambedkar.
No, there is no Ambedkar here. No. Okay. Yeah. So there are two from the Bengal side of India. Then there is one from Maharashtra, one from North. Okay.
Manoj Somnath Sharma.
No. Somnath Sharma story we already had in I think January. Yes. So this is yes. We have an army officer who was also given Padma Chakra. We have a story of him, and there is a lady who died very young actually, but she was a revolutionary with Surya Sen. She did amazing job. And there is
Yes,
someone.
I've read about her, but I forgot her name.
Okay, no issues. Okay, so that's what we are here to learn, right?
He
So let's.
wanted to die a martyr, right?
Yes. So let's start the stories. Okay, and the first story itself we will have is of a lady who worked with Master
Yes,
Surya Sen. Yeah, she participated in the Chittagong uprising, and she's known as the Iron Lady of Bengal. Okay. So her name is Pritilata Vadedar. So who was she? So Pritilata Vadedar was born on 5th May 1911. Okay, in Chittagong. Okay, I remember Chittagong, which is right now in Bangladesh, was a part of India then, right? It was part of the United India. So Vadedar came to Calcutta for higher education and enrolled as a student of philosophy at Bethune College under the University of Calcutta. So she was studying under the University of Calcutta, and this is where she met other people like Surya Sen and others. Okay? And she was inspired by the revolutionary activities being done by Surya Sen and Ram Krishna Biswas. She was also inspired by Rani Lakshmibai. So she always wanted to do something for the nation. So she became a revolutionary nationalist in Surya Sen's group. Okay. Surya Sen was creating an army of young students basically, okay, to fight against the British. So she joined that, and due to her revolutionary activities, she was denied her graduation degree by the British authorities. So even though she completed her college, she was never given a degree because she was involved in all these activities. And then she permanently became a member of the Master Surya Sen's army. And initially, she was being a lady. She was just given the task of a arm transporter, right, carrying arms from one place to another. So that police won't suspect female, but she also showcased that she is also good at martial arts and can handle shooting and firing as well. So then she also trained other girls to pick up arms against the British and created an army of women under Surya Sen. When Chittagong Armory raid happened on 18th April on 1930, she okay, participated in that. So as we know that after that raid, they captured the Chittagong okay, for 2 days, but then British counter-attack and they had to run away. So somehow Vadedar managed to escape from that, okay, and then they regrouped. And on 23rd September 1932, she led an attack on a Pahatali European club, which was a club in Chittagong, which was a symbol of colonial racism. Basically, it had a board like the Indians and dogs are not allowed, and it was kind of a club of all the revolutionaries. Okay, so revolutionaries hated that thing because it was like a hotbed of the British colonials. So they wanted to make a statement, and they attacked that club. Okay, Pritilata was wounded in the raid and swallowed. She was about to be captured. So rather than being captured alive, she swallowed cyanide. Okay, and chose death. Okay, and when she died, she was just 21 years old. Okay, So she's fondly remembered as the Bir Kanya or the Iron Lady of Bengal even today. Okay. So that's the story of Prithilasa Vadekar. Okay. So what we have next? So here we can see this is the club that they attacked. Okay, this is where she died. Okay. And now it is converted into a kind of a memorial for her. Okay. The next story we have is of an army officer who received Paramvir Chakra. Okay, and he fought a war, 1971 war, and he survived. He is one of the Paramvir Chakra awardee who survived. Okay, in the war. Okay, so Hoshiar Singh was born in Sisana village of Haryana on 5th May 1936. Okay, he was an outstanding volleyball player and represented the Punjab in nationals. So at that time, it was a unified Punjab, and he was a part of that. And he was a very good sports player in volleyball. So his talent was recognized, and one army officer asked him to join army. So in 1963, he was commissioned in the 3 Grenadiers Regiment Group and was posted in the Northeast Frontier Agency, which is called NEFA, which is right now Arunachal Pradesh. So he was posted there. So he joined army in 1963. So during the 1965 war with Pakistan, he was a very young officer. He participated in that. But his greatest bravery act came in 1971 war in Kashmir. So he was promoted to a rank of major by then. And on 15th December 1971, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. On 15th December 1971, okay, 3 Grenadiers were given the task of establishing a bridge head across the Vasanta River in the Sakargarh sector. So there was a bridge here. Basically, there was a small bridge over a river in Sakargarh sector. The Sakargarh sector is in POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So Indian Army had reached there. Okay, and they were given the task to capture a locality called Jalpal. Okay, in the POK, and this was a well fortified position and was held in strength by the enemy. Okay, Pakistan Army was there in the good strength. But they completed the task. Major Singh's company completed the objective despite intense shelling from the machine guns and tanks. They completed the task. But the bigger task was holding on to it. Okay. So for the next 2 days, Pakistani army launched a counter attack. Okay. They launched back-to-back 6 counter attacks to regain their position. Now, Major Hoshiar Singh, okay, went from trench to trench, okay, one bunker to another bunker, motivating his commands and encouraging his men to stand fast and fight till the help arrived. Okay, so there was a heavy shelling from the Pakistan side, but he, okay, his leadership, he maintained the command there. Okay, he himself was seriously wounded, still he manned a machine gun. Okay, and motivated his team to maintain their position on the Jalpal sector. Okay, and throughout the day they successfully repulsed all the enemy attacks. Okay, he finally the help arrived, but even then he refused to be evacuated. So remember, he was injured, but he refused to be evacuated till the ceasefire. Okay, till the war stopped, he wanted to be there. Okay, so for his this brave act, okay, he was awarded Paramvir Chakra for his devotion for the duty, because because of his leadership, Indian Army managed to hold on to that post. And as I mentioned, he survived that war ultimately, and he finally retired from the army as colonel. So
When was this war? Which year?
this was a 1971 war with Pakistan, right? Okay, this was mainly it was fought on both the fronts, right? This was the war which saw the creation of Bangladesh. So that is the eastern front of India on the Bengal border, and it was also fought on the Kashmir side, okay, on the POK side. Okay, so it was fought on both the sectors, and this story is of the Kashmir side of the war. Okay. That's the story of Hoshiar Singh. The next story we have is of a legend who was a poet, an artist, an author, a musician, a painter. Okay, you name a thing he did. Okay, but more importantly, he was a nationalist and he was one of the greatest Indian ever. Consider his name is Rabindranath Tagore. Now, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, as it is known in Bengali as a Thakur, okay, was born on 7th May 1861 in Calcutta. He was a master in many subjects. Okay. Okay. He was a poet, he was an artist, he was a musician, as I mentioned. He did a lot of things, but he was more importantly a writer, okay, a poet. He had an early success as a writer in Bengali language. At a very young age, he started writing and his poems got published. Okay. And those poems got translated in English. Okay. And that is how he was known. Okay. He became known in the West. Okay. In the European and American side of the world. And he became very famous there. Okay. And gradually he became the voice of India's spiritual heritage for the Western audience. Okay, and for India, especially for the Bengal, he was a living institution. Okay. Now Tagore went to England to study law. Okay, even though he was a poet, but he went there to study law along with his brother. But he came back to India within a year and started his career as a poet and a writer. When Bengal was partitioned in 1905, he strongly protested it through his poem. Okay. In 1901, he founded an experimental school in rural West Bengal near Kolkata at Shanti Niketan, okay, where he sought to blend the best of the Indian and Western traditions. So Shanti Niketan is still there. Okay, it's now an ashram where he settled. Okay, and it became a Vishwabharati University in 1921. So it's a very famous place. Okay, of Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, started by Rabindranath Tagore. In 1913, okay, he became the first non-European to receive the Nobel Prize for literature for his profoundly sensitive and fresh, uh, beautiful Gitanjali poem. Okay, so for Gitanjali, he received the Nobel Prize in literature, and he was the first non-European to receive it. Okay, until that, he is the only Indian to receive it in the category of literature. And that's how he became famous worldwide. Okay, and he met a lot of people, Indians and Europeans and Americans across the world. He made friendships, and that's how he blended the different cultures. Okay, Gandhiji gave him the title of Gurudev, and that's how he came to know as a Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, Gurudev is someone who imparted knowledge, right? So he was given appropriate title of Gurudev. He was awarded knighthood. Okay, in 1915, knighthood is the title of Sir. Okay, was awarded in 1915, but he gave up the title in 1919 as a protest against the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. When the Jallianwala Bagh happened, he gave up the title. Okay. And Tagore continued working on different fields throughout his life. Even when he was old, in his 60s, he took up painting, okay, and produced work of art that won him a place among India's foremost contemporary artists. So even in field of painting, that he started very late, okay, at the age of 60, he excelled there. Okay, he created such a beautiful art that still revered. Okay, and and as we know, he is the one who composed our national anthem, Jana Gana Man, right? Our national anthem is written by Rabindranath Tagore. And not only of India, he has also written the national anthem of Bangladesh. And one important trivia is that Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore was known by his pen name Bhanu Singh Thakur, or Bhunita. That is the name under which he wrote most of his poems or books. So that's just amazing story of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. And here we can see this is the Shanti Niketan, the building, and we can see Rabindranath Tagore here. This is how it's a kind of a Gurukul culture is maintained there. It is still very much alive. Yes. And as I mentioned, he met a lot of people, okay, across the world. So this is where he met Einstein, okay, and similarly he met a number of scientists and other scholars across the world. Okay, what this is the Gitanjali book on the left hand side, for which he was awarded the collection of poems specifically, awarded the Nobel Prize. That's the story of uh, Rabindranath Tagore. The last story we have is of Pandurang Raman Kane. And who was he? So he was Sanskrit scholar who wrote 6,500 pages of for multiple volumes of a book that is till date considered a classic in Indology or Bharat Shastra, which is the history of ancient India. So who was he? So Dr. Pandurang Kane was born at a village called Pete Parsuram in Chiplun Talika of Maharashtra on 7th May 1880. So he was from a priest family and he studied Sanskrit at a very young age. And he was a master of Sanskrit and many Asian languages. So he was a noted Indologist and Sanskrit scholar. I mentioned he had a very sharp memory and at a very young age, okay, he had memorized 400 shlokas of an old Sanskrit manuscript called Amar Kosh. Okay, so he had the sharp memory. Okay, but despite being in a proficient in Sanskrit, we'll see. Okay, he also obtained a degree in law. Okay, he became a lawyer, also practiced law in High Court. Okay, but then he started his career as a professor of Sanskrit in Elphinstone College. Okay, so he did multiple things during his younger as an early part of his career. Okay, he worked as a professor of Sanskrit because that was he loved to do, but he also worked as a lawyer. Okay, for a few years. Okay. Now Dr. Kane is famous for his magnum opus in English called History of Dharma Shastra. He wrote a lot of books. Okay, we come to that. He wrote a number of books, but this is the book, the History of Dharma Shastra, for which he is famous. Okay, which was published in 5 volumes from 1930 to 1962. Okay, across 32 years, it was published in 5 volumes. Another book he wrote is a History of Sanskrit Poetics. It is also a classic book, okay, a great book of him. And apart from the theology and poetry, apart from these books on Sanskrit and Bharat Shastra, he also wrote a great deal on other topics, including the astrology, cultural and geographical history of India, Maharashtra, Konkan, Vidarbha, different geographies. Also on Marathi language, economics of Chanakya, and mathematics. Yeah, there are a lot of things he wrote about. He was a versatile on the different topics. And there are overall 192 publications by his name. Okay, 198 publications by his name. And for his fourth volume of History of Dharma Shastra, he received a Sahitya Academy Award in 1956. He received a lot of awards throughout his lifetime. Then Sahitya Academy was given in 1956. He was nominated to Rajya Sabha, okay, by President in 1953 and 1958. Okay, and for his academic contribution, he was given Bharat Ratna in 1963, the India's highest civilian honor. Okay. So that's the amazing story of Pandurang Raman Kane. Not very famous, but yeah, he did amazing work, especially related to the Sanskrit, okay, which is India's one of the ancient language. Okay. So this is the left-hand side. We have the history of Dharma Shastra, different volumes of the book. Okay, they were published across 32 years. Okay, right-hand side is another great book, the history of Sanskrit poetics. And there are a lot of books, as I mentioned, written by Dr. P.V. Kane. So these are the stories we had this week, like Rabindranath Tagore we had, and Dr. P.V. Kane, Tirtha Walidar, and Colonel Hoshiar Singh. So now I hope you know the names. Yes or no? Did you
Yes.
like the stories?
Yes,
And
uncle.
And these are the heroes, they are born this week. Okay, so they are mostly, if you see, they are born in the coming week. Okay, so just remember their names whenever you okay read about those people or hear about them. Okay, and tell those their stories. So before we complete, okay, let's have a small fun type of quiz. So India's national anthem is composed by
Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore.
Rabindranath Tagore. Excellent. Yes. Yes. And as I mentioned, he not only wrote India's national anthem, he also wrote Bangladesh national anthem.
Bangladesh.
Yes. Which club was attacked by Prithviraj Wadeza? This is difficult, right? We saw the photo, right?
That European club.
Yes, yes,
Bihati or something.
yes, yeah. Pahatali European Club, okay, which is still there in Chittagong. Yes, yes. And a Colonel Hoshiyar Singh won Paramveer Chakra during which war?
1971. 1971.
Yes, 1961. Yeah. It was a war he won in Kashmir. Okay. Who wrote History of Dharma Shastra?
Kane.
T.V.
Kane.
Yes, yeah, Dr. Pandurang Vaman Kane. Yes, and do you know he lived in Pune, and his family, his ancestors, or rather his descendants, okay, his son and great grandsons are still living in Shivaji Nagar in Pune. They are still here. Their house is still here. Okay. So that's the story of this week's heroes. So thank you. Now